Hello, and welcome to episode 175 of the How to Survive podcast. My name is Joe, and joining me, the other side of my coin, Chris Morris. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Always two there must be.
Yeah, that's not a quote from this week's film.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
That's basically the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not that different, you and I, the movie.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. This week's movie is finally The Dark Knight from 2008.
Oft requested.
Yeah, we've skipped...
Most often by Mike Gibson.
Yeah. Frequent listener and fan of the show, Mike Gibson.
Yeah, yes. He's been badgering us for some time.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we are, bullied into it.
In Gotham.
In Gotham, Gothic Gotham. That's what they call it. That,
not so gothic in this one.
It is a bit.
No, it's like modern Chicago, isn't it?
That's true. I suppose you're right.
In Batman Begins, it's like slums and, steam and there's a monorail and stuff like that. That's gothic, like comparatively.
Yeah. In this one, like 2 years have passed. And now
in this one, it's like, will you be needing the Lamborghini, sir?
Lamborghini. Yeah, you're right. So we've skipped Batman Begins.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a bit.
Yeah.
Likewise, we're not doing Batman Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. As it's known.
As it's known by me, because there's not much to say about it that we can't just touch on here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If you disagree, email in and we might do it one day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the time being, a Batman movie, it's hard not to hit on one of those when you've done 175 movies.
For you.
Yeah. Because they're more frequent than vampire movies these days, aren't they?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
They are.
Both
really.
about bats?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, interesting.
And when Batman bites people, they turn into Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
listening.
think that about covers it.
All right, well, so if you haven't listened to the How to Survive podcast before, you probably love that banter at the beginning there.
Yes.
Yeah, but now we'll get to the brass tacks. We talk about movies on How to Survive and how we would survive in them. Normally those are horror movies, but sometimes we dabble in action and genre films.
Any genre that involves some sort of threat of peril or a necessity to survive.
Yeah, that's our remit. We talk about the film in detail because we're film critics as well.
Yes,
we like to criticise them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've had your Eberts, you've had your Kermodes, and now you've got your Morrises and Shervilles.
Yes.
On the How to Survive podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about stuff like themes.
Yeah.
And then we
You're
talk
really
about...
just walking them through what a film podcast is.
Yeah. Then we talk about how we'd survive in it.
Yeah.
In the second half of the show.
Yeah, a bit looser, a bit more freeform.
Yes, absolutely. We throw the notes out the window. Like the Joker, we don't have a plan.
No. Yeah, we are agents of chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just want to see the world learn.
Yeah, instead of burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
Yeah, right.
I'm glad you're keeping up. You have watched the film.
What film? We'll recap the plot after this.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Bruce Wayne is loving life. 2K08. His business is booming. His celebrity is intact. And he's spending his evenings defending Gotham from baddies. All going very well.
Yeah.
The only thorn in his side appears to be copybats,
Nice.
who keep getting themselves in trouble and giving him a bad name by using deadly violence.
Yeah.
They basically use shotguns and stuff where he uses tricks.
Mm-hmm.
All is well until the Joker's crime spree becomes too vast. The Joker appears to have robbed every bank in Gotham, including mob-owned banks, much to the chagrin of all of Gotham's organised criminals. At a meeting, the mob bosses discuss how to recover their stolen money from the Joker and how to protect their investments, which are in the hands of their legal counsel, Lau, who has fled the United States with their remaining money. He's been keeping their money in investments, but that's not that important. The Joker invades the meeting and tells them they need to organise against Batman if they want to keep breaking the law.
Yeah.
He offers his services as an assassin for all of their money, basically.
Well, he's
Half
half of it.
Yeah. But the group laughs him off, claiming that killing Batman is impossible. Bruce Wayne heads to Hong Kong and executes a perfect heist, kidnapping Lau and delivering him back to the United States and to the doorstep of the Gotham Police and District Attorney Harvey Dent. Lau gives up all of his clients in exchange for immunity, which means that Gotham's entire organised crime, like family, extended family, are all sent to prison in one hit.
Yeah, it's all they're all indicted, aren't they?
Yeah. Then they're put in jail in one go. 520 people or something.
Yeah, it's something mad.
A miscarriage of justice, to say the least.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You don't get a day in court. You get you have to go to this
520th of a day in court.
Harvey Dent is catapulted to fame as Gotham's hero, and hope returns to the streets.
Gotham's White Knight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not like the Dark Knight of the title.
No. The police don't like him, do they?
Why?
Because he used to be in internal affairs.
Yeah.
And they used to have a nickname for him.
What was his nickname?
More on that later.
The remaining mobsters are all brought under the control of the Joker, who kidnaps Lau, recovering all of the mob's remaining money and burning it immediately. He's not about money, he's about chaos. Organised crime is now gone from Gotham, and the Joker reveals that he is an agent of chaos, hell-bent on destroying Batman in one way or another. He begins publicly killing people, demanding that more will die until Batman reveals his true identity. The Joker kills the police commissioner and the judge presiding over the trial of Gotham's criminals. At a memorial service for the fallen commissioner, he shoots at the mayor, but Lieutenant Gordon dives in the way, sacrificing himself to save the mayor. In the chaos, Harvey Dent kidnaps one of the Joker's henchmen and keeps threatening to kill him, basically.
On the flip of a coin.
Yeah.
Which he has a lucky coin which has heads on both sides.
It's not a lucky coin. That's just
There's a trick coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lucky for whoever is about to get shot in the face on a tails.
Yeah.
Anyway, he learns from this guy that the Joker's next target is Rachel Dawes. And fans of the series may remember her from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
She's...
Katie Holmes is back.
Yeah. So, yeah. She's changed a bit.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. A lot can happen.
Yeah, she's Bruce Wayne's true love, and unfortunately, Harvey Dent's girlfriend. To prevent more deaths, Bruce decides to reveal that he is Batman, and Dent beats him to it, allowing himself to be arrested. As Dent is being transferred to jail, his convoy is attacked by the Joker. Batman intervenes, saving Dent, and allows Commissioner Gordon, back from the dead, to apprehend the Joker.
So just to explain, that was Gordon's plan all along and Harvey Dent's plan all along. But I don't think Batman knew.
I always thought Batman must have known, because he must be in cahoots with Gordon.
But he goes to Gordon's house as they're delivering the news of Gordon's death to his family. And why would he have any reason to go there if he knew that Gordon was alive? He'd just be rubbernecking on a grieving widow.
Well, maybe he just wanted to see the job done.
But that's absurd. It's so absurd.
Or to protect them.
Because he's there so that
later we'll learn that his family are at risk. So maybe he wanted to make sure they weren't going to get fucked over.
But it's mental.
Maybe Gordon was I'm going to fake my death.
He's sat on the little perch above their apartment. Yeah. And he's there so that in the scene she can step out of the house and go,
shout it.
You killed him. This is your fault or whatever. But like I said, if he knew that Jim Gordon was alive, then...
Yeah. But what about if Jim Gordon said, I'm going to fake my death. I need you to go to my family's house and make sure the police don't kill them, because that's exactly what happens later in the film.
Oh, I see. You think that the police are...
The police are crooked.
Right, yeah, I get that, but the specific officers who are going over... Okay, yeah, I mean...
I'm acting as an apologist.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, back from the dead,
Mm-hmm.
Gordon captures the Joker
Yeah.
and gets his little shotgun movement where he's like, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
In custody, the Joker reveals that he's kidnapped both Dent and Rachel, and that they're being held at separate locations, forcing Batman and the authorities to choose who will live and who will die.
They're both strapped to bombs as well.
Yes, that's true. In like
And
oil
they don't
barrels.
have time. Batman doesn't have time to save both, so he has to choose.
He chooses Rachel, but he arrives to find that the Joker was lying and he's actually at Dent's location.
Mm.
Rachel dies in an explosion, but Batman pulls Dent to relative safety. Unfortunately, he was doused in gasoline before the explosion, and his face is badly burned.
Yeah.
An accountant for Wayne Enterprises, or like a freelancer or a lawyer, a suit, has worked out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he goes on TV to reveal everything.
Yeah.
The broadcast is interrupted by the Joker, who says that the accountant needs to be killed within 60 minutes or he will blow up a hospital.
Yeah.
Thanks to a lot of Gordon Batman interference, the accountant is saved and the hospital is evacuated before it can be blown up.
Mm.
And it is blown up.
Mm-hmm.
Before the explosion, the Joker confronts Harvey Dent in the hospital, telling him that he should embrace chaos because living within the rules means you can't fight against the people who break them.
Mm.
Dent takes the advice on board and begins administering executions to the various people who have wronged him, deciding their fate with the flip of a coin.
Mm. His lucky coin...
Has now one side's been burned, like him.
Because Rachel had it, and presumably it's covered with her like liquefied remains or something.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's what every time he thinks it, he flips the coin and his head's or Rachel's like ashes.
Yeah.
For the Joker's big finale, he forces 2 ferry loads of people, one full of prisoners and the other full of civilians, to decide whether to blow up the other ferry, because they're both stranded in the middle of the river.
Yeah.
And if they blow up the other one, then they're saved. But if no one blows up anything, then they both get blown up.
Yeah.
The plan is thwarted when nobody acts and Batman apprehends the Joker, recovering the detonator. The Joker reveals that Harvey Dent is still at large, and we learn that he has kidnapped Commissioner Gordon's family.
Yeah.
Because Lieutenant Gordon has now been promoted to Commissioner.
Yeah, but this is the first that Batman learns that Harvey Dent has gone round the twist as well.
Yeah.
Because he goes, "What did you do? What did you do?" Yeah. It's so horrible. Yeah.
Holding the family at gunpoint, as in Gordon's family.
Yes.
Harvey Dent compromises Gordon, who runs in, he punches him in the head, and forces him to experience what it's like to watch someone you love die. But before he can pull the trigger and kill Gordon's son, Batman shows up. In a scuffle, Batman throws himself and Harvey Dent over a scaffold, and Dent is killed in the fall. Having broken his no-killing rule, Bruce Wayne is forced to retire as Batman. He allows Gordon to blame all of Dent's murders on Batman, and for Dent to be the hero that Gotham needs, but not the one it deserves.
Yeah.
And that's the film, basically.
Yeah, the longest film ever.
It is obscenely long.
Yeah. 2.5 hours to stand still, as you like to say.
Yeah. I watched it today in a McDonald's because that's the only place I could find Wi-Fi.
That's the only place they were showing it.
So I just have to like keep getting coffees. You can't get them ordered to your table now, which is quite good.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah. And they were
You
just
watched
like,
the whole film in a McDonald's?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. It's crazy.
I did some work as well. I was there for like 6
That's how
hours.
Christopher Nolan would have wanted it. Imagine all the time he put into like the IMAX presentation, making it look as spectacular as he can, and all for a guy to watch it in a McDonald's and then talk about it on a podcast going, well, actually, I don't think it's quite as good as people remember.
The thing is, with McDonald's, I don't eat any food there because I'm vegan. So I just had
They
coffee.
don't have
after
anything
coffee.
vegan.
It may be the vegetable shit's vegan. I don't know,
Right.
fuck with it. But
Chips?
chips I could have, but I like coffee. I'm
Right.
fine with coffee.
Okay, well then stop complaining.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Well, it sounds like you're complaining.
the irony is. The
Yeah.
irony is that I have sought refuge in the one place I can't eat anything. That's the real tragedy
The
here.
cruelest of ironies.
Anyway, that's The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
From
I think
2008.
we've said all we need to say.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes. It's a great movie to watch as entertainment. I think we're going to get onto this a bit later. It starts to fray at the edges a bit when you
Stop and
pick
think
at
about
it.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger as the Joker is obviously fantastic. What is there left to say about his performance? It's captivating. It stands up even 10 years
Unpredictable.
on. Yeah. And I think it stands up in spite of it becoming a meme, really,
Yeah.
and like a fancy dress costume. And I sort of hate how much it's become a meme because
right. There's a layer of cringiness that goes above this film.
right.
In the same way as Breaking Bad now. I couldn't
Yeah.
really watch Breaking Bad now without being a bit like, ugh.
Yeah, but it's breaking down his performances into sort of the little repeated lines or movements or gifs or whatever really detracts from the performance as a whole because it is fantastic and it's the little touches, the little movements, facial expressions, idiosyncrasies that make it.
There's one really good part where one of the mob bosses says to him, the line is delivered like this. It's like, do you really expect to just take our money and walk away? It's like, and before he's even finished the line, he's like, yes.
Yeah. Yes. I like the bit. That's in the first scene where he
Walks in
does
on
the pencil trick.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And the bit that I love in that scene is when someone says he's fucking crazy or whatever, and he goes like, no, I'm not. Like, and he really like flicks the T at the end of the word, but it's all those little like tiny details, and it like, you know, I must have seen The Dark Knight 4 or 5 times now. It's 10 years down the line. It is still one of the most captivating performances that I can think of in a Hollywood movie. It's absolutely incredible.
What would you compare it to? Nicholson in Shining?
Yeah, or Sugar in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah,
or,
his presence on screen just changes the tone of everything.
yeah, but there's obviously, as I think we're going to talk about a bit later, or certainly I've got something to talk about with it. There's a whole narrative around Heath Ledger's performance because of the fact that he died shortly after completing the film, and there are naturally, as a result of that, loads of stories about, you know, he did this on set and he did that on set. I think that my favourite one of those is the fact that in the party scene where he walks out of the lift
And fires the shotgun in the air.
fires the shotgun and says, "We are tonight's entertainment."
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Alfred, Michael Caine's character, had a line.
He's in the background, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he had a line he was supposed to say a line as the Joker steps out of the elevator.
Oh, I don't think these guys are invited.
Yeah, but Michael Caine was so scared of
Yeah.
Heath Ledger that he just forgot it.
Wow.
And this is a man who's been in Jaws 4. So he knows something about scary things.
It's not like, I mean, Michael Caine's good in it, but it's not like he's given a lot to do.
No, I know. But he's I think he gets his moment in the third film, doesn't he, I believe.
What, the last scene?
No, he has a speech, I think, where he basically like tears
Ever
Bruce
since
Wayne to
you were a
shreds.
young boy, I've looked after
Yeah.
you.
Oh, it's like Michael Caine's in the room.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's the thing about his performance is that it's like he's playing someone who is performing, which gives it this really odd energy. Like, obviously, the Joker isn't like a natural construct. He's not a natural person behaving naturally.
He's mad. It's embodied, right?
Right. But it makes it because he's acting in this really affected manner, like he's in a pantomime or something like that, because that's juxtaposed with all the incredibly vicious things that he's doing, makes it all the more unnerving because he's even more unpredictable. And
it makes it feel like, because it's a performance, he has to, like, he could do anything in that performance because he's trying to make a statement.
Right, exactly, yeah. It's that thing of, you know, when people put on masks, they behave differently.
Yeah.
And he has put on a full costume and is, you know, it's not just that he's doing mad things, it's that he
doesn't matter who he was before.
Right.
He's the killer in Seven, right? But if the killer in Seven put on a green wig and
Yeah. But yes, I mean, there's very little that you can really add to it, I think. Like, as in one can really add to it because it's, been so long and it's such an iconic.
Nolan says that he didn't want the Joker to have a backstory. And I think that's to his credit. Because like, if you give him anything, then it takes away everything, I think.
Yeah, well, he has the multiple backstories, doesn't he? And there's plenty of theories about how he...
Well, yeah, I've read a lot of Batman comics over the years. And the one that I like the best is that he was a failed stand-up comic or something like this.
Right, yeah.
And
that's the plot of the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Right.
I think is coming out, the Joker film with
it's
Joaquin
funny.
Phoenix.
We talked about on the Spider-Man podcast last week, we talked about Joaquin Phoenix in superhero movies. Yeah. And neither of us mentioned the fact that he is going to be the Joker.
Right, yeah.
Well, he'd be a good Wolverine.
Yes. But he, so
he's the Red Hood.
Well, I
he gets roped into a heist.
Yeah.
In the Killing Joke, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's robbing a warehouse of some kind. I can't really remember. He ends up falling into a vat of acid.
Yeah.
Which dyes his hair green, burns his skin white, and drives him insane. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really matter what happened before that because now he's just an agent of chaos.
But obviously, in The Dark Knight, the Joker himself presents a number of, possible,
equally believable stories.
Yeah, and there's also the theory that he's, because there's a thing about someone blows up a truckload of soldiers and no one bats an eyelid because it's all part of the plan. There's a theory that that's an indication that he was it's all fan fiction.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, but you're right in that. Because I think also that the way it's structured so that you get that first one about his
father. My father was a drinker. Do you remember that guy? I won't say any names, but we used to get the bus to college with a guy who would do that impression, and it was like I think he thought of himself as an actor.
Yeah,
and he was and he used to do that monologue, and it was like.
we'd make him do it because it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny to watch him do it because he was not that good at it.
Yes. I mean, let's not go down that road because we'll just talk about him for an hour.
Yeah, that would be a good story.
Yeah, but I mean, essentially, in conclusion, Heath Ledger is good in the film.
Do you remember when this came out? Same, we were at college. I was working at the Co-op.
Right.
And there was a guy who worked there as well. And he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
And he was a bit of a...
loser.
I get it.
Lifer.
A lifer, yeah. He wasn't very smart. And he used to pretend that he was up on everything, if you know what I mean. A bit of a Jack the Lad who didn't really have the clout to back it.
Right.
He thought he was. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about movies or whatever, or stack of shelves. And he said, and I said to him, "Oh, it's a real shame about Heath Ledger." And he goes, "Keith Legend, what a film." He just had never heard of Heath Ledger, but wanted to pretend he knew there was a movie called Keith Legend and that he'd seen it and it was really good.
Why would you shoot for that?
You could just be like, "Oh yeah, that was bad."
Yeah.
But he's like, "Keith Legend, what a film!
What a performance by Keith Legend." I did one thing that I wanted to mention as well is Hans Zimmer's soundtrack. Whenever the Joker is around, has that sort of endlessly climbing note. It's like a tuning up guitar string.
Yeah,
and it's it's basically like they try. I have no evidence of this, but I have a feeling that they might have tried a bunch of different things and couldn't find anything that's
matched it.
Yeah, it couldn't find anything to build tension better than literally the sound of tension building.
The string. Yeah,
that is exactly what it is.
It works. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a gratuitous amount of bass drops. Every time a card is shown or a hand, someone holds their hand out and turns it over and they've got a coin in it. It's like,
it's like the film wants you to be like, "Oh my God," every 5 seconds.
It works. You are.
Yeah.
I think it is a masterpiece of a film. I don't mind saying that.
Okay.
But only the first time you watch it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you sat down and watched it and you were like, "I'm going clean," you watch the movie, you walk out, you'd be like, "That was genuinely astonishing." Mm-hmm. So it's unfortunately we've got the benefit of 11 years in seeing it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And being able to rewind it that counts against it a bit. Mm-hmm. But I think when character arcs click perfectly in anything, it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
And when that happens in a movie where a guy rides a motorbike out of his tank that he just crashed, it's a great undertaking.
Yeah, exactly.
There are lots of things at play, but at its heart, this is a movie, I think, about decisions, right?
Okay.
Batman's decision is to break the rules to uphold them. Joker's decision is to live outside of the rules, and Harvey Dent treads a thin line between them,
Right.
or appears to. But without getting out my Dungeons and Dragons moral alignment chart, I think we can agree that there are moral compasses here which complement each other in a dramatic character movie like this.
Yeah.
The central question that I remember thinking the movie was about, because I haven't seen it in years, and going back into it, I thought it was kind of about this: is can Batman call himself the good guy when he breaks all the rules and essentially lives his life as the Joker, but has that the one rule he doesn't break is kind of the cardinal one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the Joker seems to think Batman's a hypocrite because he won't do that. He won't kill people.
Yeah.
Is that basically it? That's
Well,
what I remember thinking it was about.
Joker hates rules, basically, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he wants to see
Batman break his
Yeah,
rule.
and the whole point with Batman is that he is just above criminals enough for him to be the paragon of the city. So, he will fight the criminals, but he will never kill them.
Never
he'll
stoop to their level.
Yeah, exactly. And so the Joker is trying to bring him down to everyone else's level, which will tar him in the eyes of the population, which is what we see happening in The Dark Knight Rises,
Right.
really.
Exactly.
His reputation is
damaged. Yeah. I mean, the Joker represents chaos, and the suggestion is that he, like Batman, like you say, lives his life one rule away from there.
Yeah.
And if he was to step over that threshold, he would be just as bad as everyone else.
exactly, yeah.
Harvey Dent appears to dabble in murder and violence, but we later learned that the game was always rigged in his favour because it's a double-headed coin.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real good aha moment because it recolours everything he's done up to that point. But the delivery of the line is like rubbish. But she's like, hey, it's always lucky for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, if we take the end of the film, right? If we take Bruce Wayne and Gordon's perspective, which is Batman isn't a hero, but Dent is. That seems like, I think Bruce Wayne genuinely believes that. He's not like he's doing, like saying, I'm going to sacrifice myself. He's like, no, this is the hero they need. I'm not a hero.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. I never really have bought that. I think Batman is the hero and Dent is the villain. Like underneath everything, Harvey Dent was a murderer.
Yeah.
As soon as he starts flipping the coin, he's evil.
Yeah, but the whole point is that he basically, Harvey Dent was in the process of prosecuting every criminal Gotham's ever had. And for him to turn out to be a murderous criminal as well, by association, would ruin the chances of
getting the other criminals put away.
Yes, exactly. And so basically Batman takes the hit.
I understand that.
Yeah. But it's in a thematic sense, you're right in that Harvey Dent is a villain. But it's almost like Harvey Dent represents what would happen to Batman if he fell from grace. If Batman loses Batman, I suppose Bruce Wayne does lose everything or most of everything that he cares about. But that's why it's almost compelling to see what might happen. I mean, there's an obvious, parallel set up between Harvey Dent and Batman, isn't there? Because he's called the White Knight.
Yeah.
They hold up a menu to make him look like Batman in the restaurant. Yeah. He outs himself as Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're obviously supposed to compare them.
It's sort of a Western, isn't it? You've got the good cowboy and the bad cowboy, and the bad cowboy turns out to be good at the end. And
just like a Western.
Just like, you know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah. The white and black. Yeah.
White and black.
The semantics of it. Yeah.
It's like Star Wars. How about that?
Yeah.
Decisions, like I said, factor in a lot. There's some big lines. Like Rachel, when she's proposed to, says, "I don't have an answer."
Yeah.
She won't make a decision.
She does decide in the end.
She does in the end, but she's too late.
Yeah.
Would you leave a man's life to chance? Killing is making a choice. All these things about decisions and choosing who you're going to go for and stuff. So that's it. It's a movie about decisions in my eyes.
Sure.
Or lack of them.
So you mentioned how it's good. It's a masterpiece the first time you watch it.
Yes.
What, in your opinion, are the things that make it less of a masterpiece the second time you watch it?
Just I don't. I mean, when we were walking to the studio earlier,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you don't like calling them plot holes, but they are.
Well,
kind of
plot holes. Plot holes, I think, has been sort of co-opted as a phrase that, you know, I feel like people say plot hole on the internet when what they mean is the film didn't explain this to me.
Yeah.
But these are plot holes, I think. For example, why does Jim Gordon fake his death? And how does that work?
He says it's to protect his family.
Yeah, but how does that work logistically, right? Who is in on it, right? Did he decide when he was shot at the march that he was going to fake his death? And like someone runs over and he goes, no, pretend I'm dead, right? Or was it always, he said to a bunch of people, if the Joker tries to shoot the mayor, I'm going to dive in front of it and it will look like I've been shot, but I haven't been shot.
But how are you going to deflect the bullet?
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So who is in on it? Are the other
the
police
Joker must be in on it?
Are the other police chiefs in? Are the other policemen in on it? Are the ambulance drivers in on it? Did no one get the opportunity to identify his body?
You want the deleted scenes that show what happened to Gordon in the interim,
right? Well, it's a great aha moment, as you put it, but it is absurd. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense.
It's a gotcha.
The other thing that I think is more apparent every time you watch it is just how many times the film tries to get away with a twist being explained by, this was the Joker's plan the whole time, right? For example, him getting into the police station, right? So his plan is his ultimate goal is to kidnap Lau so that he can execute him, right? So to do that, he attempts
He wants to get the money so he can burn it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. But
he
needs that. He needs Lau to do that. Right.
Yeah.
So he attempts to assassinate Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And then gets caught. Ends up in a police station. At the same time, one of his minions has been arrested with a bomb in his chest.
No. You're missing a part. So it's actually when Harvey Dent's being transferred, he drives through the city, smashing everything up in a lorry.
Yeah.
Then he gets caught by...
That's what I said.
I think you meant the assassination with... that's the mayor.
Right. Yeah, that's the mayor. Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
He tries to assassinate Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
While he's being transferred.
Yeah.
He gets arrested.
Yeah.
He ends up in prison. At the same time, his minion gets sent to the same jail.
Yeah.
With a bomb in his chest.
Yeah.
Which the Joker can activate with a phone call.
Yeah.
Because it's got a phone call into it. So then he's put in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
He needs for Batman to come in and
Gordon
rough him up.
Yeah.
So that he can tell Batman to go save Rachel when actually he's going to go save Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Right. But not save him quite enough so that he's psychologically damaged. Right.
Yeah.
Then he needs for a police officer to be in the room with him so that he can coerce him into taking him hostage. Yeah. Right. Then the purpose of him taking the person hostage is so that he can make the call that will blow up the bomb in the jail so that he can kill everyone in there and kidnap Lau. Right? Yeah. Is that correct?
That's right. So far, so good. Yeah. I don't see any problems.
And then basically Harvey Dent gets half blown up, right?
Yeah.
And ends up wounded.
Yeah.
So Joker goes to visit him in hospital.
I love that scene.
And tells him, obviously the often repeated thing about that scene is that
he doesn't realise until he pulls the mask off.
Yeah, Harvey Dent doesn't recognise the Joker until he takes the mask off, which is just a sanitary mask thing. Anyway, he then he basically psychologically tricks Harvey Dent into thinking
killing's good.
Killing is good. And then, so therefore, at the end, he goes, Batman, you may have captured me, but what you don't realise is that my real plan all along was to bring down Harvey Dent in the eyes of the people of Gotham. And you're supposed to go, God, he's clever. Right. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, in a heist movie where they sit around the table at the beginning, he's like, right, so this is how it's going to go down.
Yeah. But the thing is, right, is that I don't know whether or not you can really use this as a legitimate criticism of the film, which is why the whole it's a plot hole or whatever is not really a good argument.
Because it brings you along pretty well.
Because the experience of watching the film and the feeling that the film generates is it just makes you not give a shit about any of that, right? And in some ways, that's to the film's credit, because if the film was rubbish, you would notice these things.
Of course,
but
yeah.
because it's exciting and enthralling and compelling, you don't care about them.
I mean, one counterpoint to that though is that you don't really get much time to think. It's cut like, I mean, Batman Begins was worse. Batman Begins was cut like a previously on.
The first half of Batman Begins is dizzying.
Yeah,
and
you're like, who am I supposed to? Like, who's the main character here?
There's a couple of traits of Nolan films that really wind me up, and one of them is he has this style of editing where he just basically like jumps into the middle of a scene, which in some ways, because you do still in a general sense follow it and it's entertaining, in some ways that's to be credited, because it's cutting all of the slack off of his films, pretty much, right? But the problem is that there's never like an establishing shot. There's never, and now we are here. Let's settle into this scene. It's almost like his scenes are sort of like 5-minute, like in Rocky, right, where he's had like the training montage. It's like every Nolan scene is a montage of like a week in the life of someone, and it's right. like, and you just have like the score, and it's exciting. Right. So it's just like, but it like carries you along the whole time, and so that really. But once you start to rewatch his films, you do tend to notice that they're just a bit sort of baffling.
Yeah, they're dizzying.
Like you can watch them. I think a lot of people, if you watch them for the first time. You could show them half an hour of a Nolan film and they'd find it really entertaining. But then you say, what happened? Yeah. Like, why were they at the monastery?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be able to answer you.
Yeah.
The other thing that really annoys me, which really, really winds me up, is that he uses IMAX cameras, but he doesn't use them for the whole film.
Just for certain scenes, right?
Right. And so you'll notice if you watch
Dunkirk was all IMAX, right?
I'm not sure if even that was all IMAX, because I'm pretty sure it annoyed me in that film as well, right? Is that he uses a combination of 16:9, I think it is, and 2:35:1 ratio.
These are aspect ratios.
Aspect ratios, right? So IMAX is like full frame. It's 16:9, but it looks amazing and all that sort of thing. And 235 or 239, I think, 2.39:1 is like letterbox, widescreen, traditional, panoramic vision type thing. And he'll cut between those in the same scene. So you'll have a shot of Alfred sitting, looking at Rachel's note, and it looks astonishing because it's in IMAX. It looks fantastic. And then it will cut to the opposite angle, which is shot on the B camera, which is 2:35:1, and he's like burning the night. And it's just so jarring for me, right? And
so what? The letterbox appears.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
The reason I'm fully aware that the reason that I notice these things is because it's part of my job.
Right.
That is editor, video editing. Basically, most people don't get away with doing stuff like that.
I've watched adverts with you before where you've been like, why did they leave that in?
Right. That is something that I look out for, because to me that is a mistake.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just a personal preference thing, a question of personal taste.
Did you think Nolan was like, no one's going to notice that?
Yeah. Like, I think it comes down to IMAX cameras are brilliant. I'd love to use IMAX cameras all the time, but it's really expensive and they're not very portable. So I'll use
crazy.
them.
Like, I remember today when I read about it. Apparently, like, if you want to shoot in IMAX, you have to talk to like the IMAX guy. It's not like you can just be like, I'm going to use an IMAX camera.
Yeah,
it's like a proper undertaking.
Yeah,
so few films are made in IMAX that it's like, it's just an insane thing.
And like proper, proper IMAX.
I saw Mission Impossible Fallout in IMAX.
But that does the same thing.
Yeah,
it cuts between
but then
different aspect ratios.
The film, the scenes that are in that, are like
but it's not
the
whole
Halo
scenes. It's not all. It's
the Halo dive.
That may well be.
Yeah,
that's all. Towards the end, for example, the helicopter scene that cuts between IMAX shots. It tends where the IMAX shots tend to be, and it's the same in The Dark Knight, are like the sweeping vistas and things like that, which look absolutely amazing. Yeah, right. But and then it will cut to inside the helicopter and it's letterboxed. I'm just like, fucking stop doing that. It really annoys me.
Right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. I mean, I can't say I know.
It's just a question of personal taste, and
Yeah.
that's something that
and also
you.
being aware of it. I mean, I think now you've mentioned it. Occasionally, you'll mention something like that,
Yeah.
and then it becomes my bugbear as well because
Yes.
now once seen, it can't be unseen.
Yes.
So, Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Dark Knight trilogy has acted as inspiration for an entire decade
of
of superhero movies.
it's very influential. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it proved that there was mileage in superhero movies for a start. We've had Spider-Man before that.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe a couple of the Fantastic Four, things like that.
Iron Man came out by about 3 or 4 months before Dark Knight.
But that wasn't... I don't think they'd committed to the MCU when Iron Man came out.
I think it was planned.
Really?
It was planned because Nick Fury rocks up at the end of Iron Man.
Hey,
And he says, and he specifically
Yeah.
says, we're putting together a team. I
Right.
think it is.
And winks at the camera
Yeah.
with one eye.
With one eye, he blinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but it also, I think, made Hollywood execs believe that we needed something to be thematically dark for it to be worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
And there's, as I mentioned, there's clear influences in things like the DC universe.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, so they're significantly darker than their MCU, the Marvel equivalents, right?
Yeah.
And I sort of hate the word dark being used to describe movies. I think it's very easy to misinterpret what that means,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what has happened. I mean, for a movie to be dark in the Nolan sense, it needs to deal with the darker parts of the human psyche, the human experience.
Yeah.
So a good comparison with The Dark Knight might actually be a movie like Prisoners,
Right.
which I think tonally has more in common with The Dark Knight than, say, Wonder Woman has.
Yes.
Even though I think Wonder Woman is made in the mold, or attempted to be made in the mold of Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that dark means violent with adult themes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you end up with like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which opens with a child being hanged.
Yeah.
Because these filmmakers are like, yeah, that would be a good idea. Let's make it really gritty, right? And dark. Let's make it dark.
I think that probably came out before The Dark Knight, but yeah, I know what you're
I
saying.
think it did, man. I think it was one of the later ones.
Right. It's the third one. But yeah, I'm not.
You take my point.
Yeah, no, I do completely.
But Batman Begins came out in 2004 or something, so maybe
2005, yeah,
Yeah.
2008 was Dark Knight.
or you get like toy robot movies which are obsessed with Megan Fox's bum,
Yeah.
and you're like, it's dark, it's
That's
gritty.
dark for a different reason.
Yeah, But it's dark. They're like,
Yeah.
come on, it's gritty.
Yeah, gritty. The whole gritty, realistic thing, right? I mean, basically, because of this film's reputation and because it became so iconic, the DCCU was dead on arrival, like completely.
Yeah.
Right? They had an impossible task to live up to, even though they had Christopher Nolan on as a producer for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole gritty style thing works for Batman because he is a rich man who buys equipment that enables him to fight criminals.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Does not work so well for Superman, who is an alien powered by the sun, raised by farmers, who works incognito in a newspaper office.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They are very different beasts, right?
Yes.
And the other element to consider is that Nolan's films, there's absolutely no universe building at all, right?
Except between the films.
Yeah, but he is not concerned with referencing any other DC property whatsoever.
No, right.
Doesn't give a shit.
It's
right?
just it's a Batman story.
There's no, hint at Superman. There's no hint at the Flash, Wonder Woman. None of that shit, right? Because Christopher Nolan was like, no, what I want to make is
a Batman
American
story.
Psycho, but he beats up criminals instead of homeless people.
Right.
Right. That is essentially what he's done. And
Done well.
yeah, and they're a good trilogy of films. It doesn't work. The same style does not work for a man in blue tights and red pants who can fly.
Especially when like you probably could make a Superman movie that was kind of grounded.
Yeah.
Like if it was like everything else in the movie is totally grounded. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man, for instance. The first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, it's a little bit out there. There's some sci-fi elements to it, but nothing much more.
Yeah, but it's the tone, isn't it? Because the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films are fun.
Yeah,
like
they
we
are.
were talking
They're
about
very
last
jolly,
week.
yeah.
So I think that's the big difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is tricky that,
Like,
they've been trying for years and they still haven't.
Right.
got it right.
Batman is grief, right? Batman is a study in grief and trauma,
Yeah.
which you can't get with Superman.
No.
Or
Well, you
Wonder
could do because he's the last of his
Yeah.
race, right?
But he doesn't know that till later on.
Yeah. I mean, it's never going to work. I don't think doing it
But
that way.
you can do more interesting things with Superman than they've done. You don't need to keep retelling the same story.
Yeah, of course.
Like I go on about it a lot, but Red Sun, the comic where it's basically saying like if
he
it
landed
happened
in
12
Russia,
hours later and he landed in, I think it's Ukraine,
right?
and instead of becoming a symbol of Americana, he becomes a symbol of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
You
idea.
want to see like a Logan style one shot,
Yeah,
yeah,
you do, yeah,
movie
of course.
based around.
And I think that's what the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is going to be like.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing about it is that they're doing this Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, but he's not taking over from Jared Leto.
No.
And it's not a continuation of that. So it's not related to the DC universe.
No, it's a standalone.
But they're also doing a standalone Jared Leto Joker movie.
yeah,
They're
milking it.
no, it's not even milking it though, is it? They're just like they've just gone mad, haven't they?
I guess
they don't know
Jack
what they're
Sparrow is
doing.
milking it. This is just crazy.
That's the difference between Marvel and DC is that you always feel like Marvel have a plan,
Yeah.
right? They have a grand plan, which we're now seeing the end of with Infinity War 2.
Yeah.
And DC just fucking have no idea what they're doing.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I don't really care either way. I don't care about either of them.
I'll probably see the Joker with
No,
Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like Joaquin
no,
Phoenix.
yeah, but that's because it will be an interesting one, singular movie.
Jared Leto's Joker, just for comparison purposes, with Keith Legends,
Yeah,
is rubbish because, and this, I think Robbie Collins said this on 5 Live.
yeah,
He says, as soon as you put tattoos and gold teeth and chains on the Joker, he has an ego and is therefore less scary.
yeah. Those are affectations because he's trying to chase a certain appearance.
Yeah, right. Where like he's not chaos anymore.
Yeah.
He's like he seeks status rather than seeking madness.
Yeah,
But then Suicide Squad's it's a mess.
yeah,
You compare like if Suicide Squad is made in the mold of this, then they've got it very wrong.
yeah.
So what made it so popular at the time and afterwards, do you think? And I mean, I think it's clearly Heath Ledger dying.
Yes. So it's pretty unavoidable, I think, to talk about it because Batman Begins was popular, but nowhere near the same degree. And without being at all cynical about it, the death of a leading cast member gave the
harm the
Dark
film, does
Knight.
it?
Well, it gave the Dark Knight publicity that it's impossible to generate otherwise because it's a leading story on news sites, news channels for weeks afterwards, right? And it's compounded by the fact that it's such a full-on performance and by the idea that playing the role somehow contributed to Heath Ledger's death,
Right. Which is obviously nonsense.
which
right?
in reality it was an accidental overdose, and that's basically it. It's a classic thing of people want to, the artist tragically dying, right? Because they commit too much to their art. It's like Kurt Cobain or whatever. People want to find like
they
some
want that
alternate
romantic story.
right? And it's just not true. Okay, so like even Christian Bale said Heath Ledger had said to him that playing the Joker was the most fun I've ever had or probably ever will have playing a character. And Terry Gilliam, who worked with Heath Ledger directly afterwards on the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus or whatever.
Reshoot some of that, right?
Yeah, they had to basically rewrite it so that his character changed depending on what reality he was in or whatever. Right? Terry Gilliam said, he said about the claims that playing the Joker made him crazy. He said those claims were absolute nonsense. Heath was so solid, his feet were on the ground, and he was the least neurotic person I've ever met. And it's basically, I think it's dangerous for people to assume or to suggest that playing the Joker had some sort of role in his death. And it's also not for us to speculate what might have contributed to his death, aside from the fact that he accidentally took a bad combination of medicines.
Right, exactly. Do you, I mean, to be even more cynical, do you think he would have won that Oscar had he not died?
I don't think, looking back on it, it feels unearned.
No. I mean, for reference, he was up against Josh Brolin for Milk, Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder, which is a weird suggestion, Philip Seymour Hoffman for Douse, and Michael Shannon for Revolutionary Road.
I mean, I don't know that none of those other, you wouldn't put any of those other performances in the
No.
Museum of Cinema, as you always like to say, right?
No, well,
Do
Robert
individual
Downey Jr. being nominated is bizarre.
for Tropic Thunder?
Yeah,
That is bizarre.
yeah.
Wow.
Michael Shannon, I didn't know he'd been nominated for that. Yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't dress up as any of those for Halloween, or be able to bring them up at dinner with your parents, and they'd know who you're talking
No,
about.
and I think that another, from a more filmmaking perspective, its legacy could even be as simple or as minor as Lindy Hemming's costume design for the Joker, capturing people's imagination. Like a sort of random spark. Because it is undeniably frightening the first time you see it, and it has become iconic in the time since.
Yeah.
Again, from a filmmaking perspective, I think it seems to me that its success was just down to a combination of disparate elements. For example, there was a resurging interest in superhero movies because Iron Man had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Batman Begins was popular as well. It had a gritty style, which is unusual for superhero movies, which made it stand out.
Yeah, I think people knew it was going to. I mean, it got a lot of promotion.
And actors, it has actors and a director whose cultural cachet was peaking at that point, right?
I don't know about peaking for Nolan.
Well, okay, yeah, but at that point in his career, he was at
Right.
it was,
He was the highest he'd been.
yeah, exactly. And similarly for it's full of stars, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
I mean, Christian Bale hasn't done a lot since Batman. He's done movies, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't done anything where it's like stand out other than...
well, he's been nominated for Oscars and stuff, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
Like
but
American
stuff like
Hustle,
Hustle, but
right?
like,
Yeah, but
who gives a fuck about
yeah,
American
but
Hustle?
then we don't care about it. But then the Academy clearly do, Joe.
He's meant to be very good in Vice.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah. You gonna watch
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I am. I've come around to it. I've heard like reviews saying it's not a wank fest. He's the bad guy, I think.
Yeah, he plays Dick Cheney, right?
Yeah.
Just one other thing that might potentially be a reason for it being popular at the time and since is that thematically it feels very timely, given that I think it's an allegory for terrorism.
They say that repeatedly through it.
Yeah, it's causing chaos and fear through violence. There's the themes of there being an arms race. At the end of Batman Begins, Gordon says the whole speech about if you start dressing up, you're going to bring all the maniacs out, essentially.
Yeah,
right. And the Joker is like mounting a guerrilla war, essentially. He's like an insurgent force.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of those themes have only become, as sad as it is to say, more and more apt in the decade since, and not least with the Aurora shooting in Colorado.
Yeah, with the Dark Knight Rises.
With the Dark Knight Rises, in which someone was dressed as the Joker, right? And and similarly, you could say that the Dark Knight Rises, that theme is of revolution, right? And violent uprising,
Right.
which you could say that there is a similar, it's anti-capitalist, isn't it? The Dark Knight Rises, because he destroys the Gotham.
Bane.
He destroys the trade center, and
Bane's the villain, though.
But that's I know it's an awkward it's an awkward point of comparison, but it is
he's not wrong.
Yeah,
no, he's not wrong.
Well, he's a radical left-wing terrorist, essentially, isn't he? Like in some ways.
Does he go through with a big drill into the stock exchange or something?
He rides his motorbikes. He's got a bunch of people on motorbikes going in there with machine guns and stuff.
I can't remember the Dark Knight Rises.
No, I haven't seen it in some time. But
I'm obsessed with the opening scene.
Yeah, because it's a meme and you love memes.
But it's because the reason it's funny is the same reason as all the other things we've pointed out, where it's like, if you think about it for more than 1 second, it doesn't make an iota of sense.
Perhaps you're thinking about why.
Like when he's
why
like,
Nolan would shoot?
Was getting caught part of your plan? Of course. It's like, well, why was it part of your plan?
Yeah.
How is it part of your plan?
Yeah. It is mad. Christopher Nolan is like, that kid that, you'd be playing, I don't know, a game in the playground with, and you go like, oh yeah, well fine, I'll shoot you with a gun, and he'll be like, well, I'll blow you up with a rocket. Because actually I'm on a plane, and that was my plan all along.
It was my plan all along. The Christopher Nolan story.
Yeah.
All right. Dark Knight Feeling. Die and be a hero. Or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Those are the immortal words of Jay-Z. What do you think of that?
Yeah. It's
But how much do you really know about
oh god,
movies in rap songs?
great.
In my movies in rap songs quiz.
Is this what you were doing that took so long?
Right, so I'm going to read you a rap song's lyrics.
Yeah.
And you tell me. There's a few points available.
Are they just quotes or are they references?
They're references
Right.
or quotes.
Okay.
No, they're all. I think they're all references.
Okay.
Well, you make your mind up.
Right.
So
Go on.
you can name the movie, the artist, or the song.
Okay.
I'll just fuck it. The movie or the artist, right?
Okay.
And there's 2 points available for each one.
Oh right, I see. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Right.
I'm not good. Just wipe the slate clean with the artist.
I think with some artists is a given.
Okay,
There's like
alright.
it'll be like
Is it like
my name is Jay-Z.
yeah, or like Wild Wild West,
Alright.
Jim West, one of the best.
yeah. Men in Black. We are the Men in Black. All right, question 1.
Yeah.
Forget Barbie. Fuck Nikki. She's fake. She's on a diet, but her pocket's eating cheesecake. And I'll say, Bride of Chucky is child's play. Just killed another career. It's a mild day.
Is that a reference to the Child's Play franchise?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Eminem?
She said her name.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Right. There you
From Kanye West's Monster, featuring Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and Bon Iver.
go. Pop it up
Yeah.
just to do some sad bits.
Question 2. My flesh no N-word could test. My soul is possessed by devils in the form of diamonds and Lexuses. The exorcist got me doing sticks like, homie, you don't know me, but the whole world owe me. Strip.
Is that a reference to the William Peter Blatty written William Friedkin film, The Exorcist?
It is.
I don't know who sung it.
Jay-Z.
Right.
Jay-Z.
Good.
His friends.
Yeah.
Jay's.
I feel like this is going to reveal a hole in my cultural knowledge that some people, in fairness, would probably have assumed anyway.
Question 3. And he leaves all types of cold tracks all behind me, and you can follow those if you ever want to find me. Better dress warm, or you might end up like The Shining. Not that boy or that lady.
When you said, "Oh, you can name the film if you want," you get a point for naming the film.
Yeah. Right. Not that boy or that lady, but that N-word gone crazy.
I'm just gonna say The Shining, and then fucking Kanye. I don't know.
Lupe Fiasco.
Right. Good.
Question 4.
Yeah.
Bite her in the fucking neck. Bite her in the fucking neck. Bottom of the fucking lake. Bottom of the fucking lake. Call my gang of wolves and bats. It's a full moon tonight, but these hoes ain't acting right. It's because I'm Dracula, bitch. Swag, swag, swag. It's because left brain, Wolf Haley, free Earl, golf wang.
Well, that's obviously a reference to Twilight because they're both wolves and vampires. It's Dracula, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who sang that?
Fucking. I don't know. Is Kanye one of them?
No.
I don't know. I don't know any rappers, mate.
Tyler the Creator.
There you go.
Question 5.
Yep.
Shit. Half the shit I say, I just make it up. To make you mad, so kiss my white naked ass. And if I'm not a rapper, then I make it as I'm a fucking rapist in a Jason mask.
Friday the 13th, Eminem.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
There you go. One last one.
Yeah.
It's going down. Basement. Friday the 13th. Guess who's playing Jason? Tuck yourself in. You better hold on to your teddy. It's Nightmare on Elm Street. And guess who's playing Freddy?
That's a reference to both the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street franchises.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Nicki Minaj again.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah,
Okay.
on Ludacris's song My Chick Bad.
Oh, I was going to say Ludacris.
There you go. So what do you get, like 3?
Yeah, something
well
like
done.
that.
Well
Good.
done, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Good song.
Thank
Game. So, do you know when you said it's the Joker's plan all along?
Yeah.
He makes a big play of like, I don't have a plan. I'm not a man who... Do I look like someone who has a plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, he's just a liar? Is that just another moment of chaos?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Another question I have for you.
Yeah.
Lucius Fox.
Yeah.
Dear old Lucius.
Mm.
He's a weapons dealer. He's an arms dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he like makes...
But it's the American dream, isn't it?
He makes like not just like guns, but like machinery,
Military equipment.
Yeah. But like it will like turn your like you shoot
microwave your water supply.
Yeah, well, you shoot it at someone and it kills their wife who's at home. It's like fucked up shit like that, right?
Yeah. But then he's like, oh, you can't listen to people's phones.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like, oh, we can catch the killer if we just use the phones.
Yeah. Lucius Fox left
like
Wayne
this.
Corp to go join Facebook. And then it was like, Mark, I'll help you do this one.
We're going to sell this data.
Consider this my resignation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the Cambridge Analytica thing was.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg had to type in his name at the end.
Lucius Fox joined leave.eu. I'll help you win this one referendum, but consider this my resignation.
Enter your name at the end. Well, there's a lot of scenes where Batman's doing the Batman voice.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
I'll tell you what, one thing.
Because they know who you are.
One thing that the DC universe gets much better is Batman's voice. You know, when it's Ben Affleck, but he's got like a chip in his mask that converts his voice into like a growling synthetic.
I don't know. I haven't seen any Batman ones.
I've never watched the whole
You seem
one.
to know a lot about it.
I know that in the trailer for Batman vs Superman, he goes like, "Do you bleed?" And then says, "You will," to Superman.
Yeah.
But it's like if you, I don't know, like if you had one of those things that like transforms your voice, that if you hold it
From
against
Mission Impossible.
yeah, or no, like like a
like a laryngitis thing.
yeah,
Not
or like a
laryngectomy.
I think so. You know,
When you have
like
a voice box removed in Vietnam, and you have that thing that goes. And then
it's not as shit as that.
Right.
Like imagine Bruce Wayne invented one.
right.
Like,
Okay. Yeah.
it just sounds like his voice is going through like a vocoder,
Right,
which
okay.
drops it 2 octaves and makes it into like a shouty noise, basically, but in like a threatening manner, which makes a lot more sense than just Bruce Wayne going like.
Let's see if I can do it to your voice. Just say the cat sat on the mat.
The cat sat on the mat.
They just don't normally.
The cat sat on the mat.
Right.
The cat sat on the mat.
The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat.
The cat sat on the mat.
The cat sat on the mat.
So there you go. That's not even how to survive it. It's just like an observation that Lucius Fox is a weird hypocrite.
Yeah.
Old Nolan, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
He's
Wi-Fi only, isn't he?
how's that?
No LAN.
Yeah. Same name as you though, Chris.
Yep.
Defer.
Yep.
Have you made any films, have you? You have actually. You won an award for one.
Yeah. Moonlight.
Anyway,
Yeah. Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
He has made a film called The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Do you think he only did the other two just so he could make this one? This is like the true vision, isn't it?
To me, Batman Begins always seems more of a Nolan film
Really?
than The Dark Knight, because it's got a lot of the shared aesthetic as The Prestige, like that sort of weird Victorian Gothic stuff, and like, you know, the Narrows in Gotham and all that sort of thing.
And everything being like "Gang, gang," between scenes.
Right.
Do you know like that, like trumpets, the horns that go up every time there's a transition?
Right. Yeah. He's never done any other kind of franchise or sequel in his career, which is quite interesting. And the thing I think is I don't know, like, one of the many tragedies about Heath Ledger's death is that we'll never know what Christopher Nolan's plan for the trilogy was really. And I think he's always said that, you know, the films that he brought out is what he intended to make. But you have to imagine that Heath Ledger would have played a role in the third one.
No body, right? I mean, Harvey Dent's not coming back.
Sorry, yeah, you meant the Joker.
The Joker, right? Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
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 I thought you were about to blow this whole podcast wide open. Yeah, we'll never know whether or not it's sort of compromised his idea for the third film. But I always think that The Dark Knight Rises feels a bit underbaked when it's set against the other two, because it has some strange like time jumps and some odd, like very standardized plot devices, like there is a nuclear bomb. And, you know, when you compare that to the other two, it doesn't feel quite as well thought through.
There is a microwaving water device. Isn't that different from there is a
Well, I
nuclear
guess
bomb?
so, yeah. Yeah. There's definitely an element of one for you, one for me in his filmography.
He just wanted to make Interception. He wanted to make Inception.
Yeah.
And
Interstellar.
Yeah, and I think he didn't want to make The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, well, if you look at his filmography, right, he did Memento. No, he did Insomnia, I think, and then Memento.
Memento's first.
Memento and then Insomnia.
Yeah, both.
Well, he did Following originally, which was his own little thing.
Yeah.
Then he did Memento and then Insomnia.
His brother wrote both, right?
I think he was involved. He definitely wrote Memento, and then he did his filmography after that point is Batman Begins, The Prestige, The Dark Knight, Inception, The Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar. And then since Interstellar, he's done Dunkirk, right? And he's basically untouchable now, right? He could just ring up any studio and say, give me $200 million, and they give it to him. Yeah. Right? But back then, it feels like he did Batman Begins and therefore got to make The Prestige. He did The Dark Knight and therefore got to make Inception. He did The Dark Knight Rises and they financed Interstellar.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact he didn't want to make Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, it's pretty well documented, isn't it? Yeah.
So, Chris, with all that said, there's only one question that we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Why so survivious?
Great.
How would you survive in the movie?
Well, it's a bit of advice for the hierarchy of the Gotham Police Department.
Okay.
Don't dish out promotions for random absurd behaviour that is outside of the remit of their jobs.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the commissioner is like a pen pusher.
The commissioner, if anyone, should be the person who holds the rules. You know, like is upholding the rules and the processes of the police department.
And isn't in bed with the vigilante.
Right. And literally what happens is, like, I don't know who he is, the mayor or it is the mayor. It's Harvey Dent, isn't it, right?
He's not the mayor. He's the DA.
Oh, no, sorry, the DA, right. Isn't it, or maybe it is the mayor.
It's the mayor who's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Well done, Commissioner.
Yeah. He goes and raises his hand up.
Yeah, and then he says
let's just recap what...
I won't accept no for an answer.
Yeah. Well, let's recap what Jim Gordon did, which was we have no knowledge, we have no evidence that anyone knew that he had this planned, but he faked his own death and coordinated with a vigilante to put the life of the district attorney in jeopardy, so that he could arrest one man at the cost of the lives of about 24 police officers, and Lord knows how many millions of pounds of equipment. And
do you know what? Right,
the district attorney, or the mayor comes in and says, "Commissioner Gordon."
You've done it again.
A pleasure to meet you. Right.
Oh. Right. You know, when you made a point about it all night, but like everything that hinged in that plan. The big thing is Batman goes to Dent and he's like, I should reveal myself. And if Dent's like, yeah, you should, go on then. And it's Batman in that van instead of Dent.
Yeah.
Then Commissioner Gordon has to bring down the Joker on his own without the use of a tank.
Batman, there's no way Batman's in on it because Bruce Wayne goes to the meeting to out himself as Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? That's what I mean.
And so it's bizarre. It's bizarre. Yeah. So there you go. Just maybe like
the commissioner's job is like more of a politician, isn't it?
Right. You should hire someone who's more appropriate than someone who's basically almost a vigilante himself.
Yeah.
Oh. How about you?
Red hot tip for Bats.
Yeah.
As the Joker calls him in the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bats.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, yeah. Where are they now? He is fighting the Joker at the end, if you recall. And how does he find him?
Find him?
Yeah. He climbs up through the building and he's got that like sonar vision.
Yeah.
And he's fighting him,
Yeah,
and
he's
his-
still got it on.
and his sonar vision cuts out, and he goes blind,
Yeah,
and the Joker overpowers him, and then he kills him.
he kills him.
Nearly kills him.
Right.
He has like a girl. He has him dangled over the edge, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, just fucking take them off. Just use your eyes. Use your
Yeah.
like." The Joker doesn't have like
No,
night vision
goggles. Yeah.
and
And it looks like the most disorientating thing in the world as well, doesn't it?
because it affects your sound as well.
Well, it's got all those like swooping camera moves to
Yeah.
show like a blueprint of the building almost.
Yeah,
Now, is Batman seeing those?
it's bizarre.
Because if he is, it'd just immediately be sick. I don't
Yeah.
care who he is.
Yeah.
Like I've done enough VR stuff to know that you can be perfectly happy with VR,
Yeah,
and then the second something moves in the thing that isn't corresponding with the movement that you're making, it's just like
yeah.
like straight away. So he'd be
losing his
spewing his
lunch.
guts out.
yeah. Do you ever see him eat?
Yeah, he has like a bright green smoothie, doesn't he, at one point, which he necks in one.
Right. Oh yeah, he has breakfast every day. 'Cause
Yeah.
Alfred has like nothing in his life
Yeah.
except making croissants.
He goes to fancy dinners and just buys the restaurant as well,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
He's got more money
He's
than
obscene.
God. It's
Obscene.
crazy.
He could imagine what he could do with his money that isn't just
Beating up like
doing something that's
muggers.
making himself feel better.
yeah.
Pathetic.
I mean,
It's basic. Imagine if Elon Musk turned out to be like a vigilante.
That's the next step for old Musk.
Yeah, he's a fucking dickhead as well, isn't he?
It is, yeah. Like, that's the thing.
At me on Twitter. Go on.
The thing is with Musk, right? There's all the tech bros who are like, oh, he think of all the things he's doing for the environment. Think of all the,
Yeah, he's not
got
though,
more
is he?
money than God.
He's
he
not
could-
doing anything.
No,
He
of
goes
course.
like, "Oh, I invented a new battery. It's really good. Good. Well, but like take it out to
Yeah,
like the Australian outback."
he's got
then.
more money like than he could build a research hospital in every city of the world, basically.
Yeah,
And he's like, you know what we should do?
I'm going to send a car into space.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's basically how the world would see Bruce Wayne.
right, exactly. But
Bruce Wayne's
Elon
like, "Oh, I've
Musk, to our
developed a
knowledge,
machine that it evaporates water.
yeah. But
Right.
Elon Musk, to the best of our knowledge, is not, taking down master criminals by
No,
night.
he's
He's
douche.
fucking smoking weed and trying to allegedly convince Azalea Banks to have a threesome with him.
You know, old Alfred.
Yeah.
I don't know who this would save, but it would save a lot of bother.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
When Bruce is like, Rachel was gonna marry me. She
Mm.
was waiting for me, Alfred. And Alfred's like, I'll just take this letter, Mr.
Yeah.
Wayne. And he's like, what's in that letter? Like, what's in the letter? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, nothing, Mr. Wayne.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, what is in the letter? And he should give it to him.
Why?
Because it's like, by burning it, he's basically saying there will never be a right time for him to learn that Rachel had moved on.
Yeah. That's probably...
That's the point. Right?
Isn't that true, though? He's never going to be happy to receive that information, is he?
Yeah, but he's always going to be lingering.
He's not going to be like, oh, she'd moved on, therefore I don't care that she's dead.
But it might help. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
If your missus died,
Yeah,
right,
great.
and if she was blown
What
up,
right? So the question you're about to ask me
Yeah.
is that if my girlfriend died,
Yeah.
would it make me feel better to learn that she'd been cheating on me?
she'd never loved you.
Yeah, absolutely not.
She'd written you a letter.
Imagine that about your
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was like, oh, I've got this letter, sir.
You do call me sir. So it's for this way. Your girlfriend's dead, and I've got a letter that she's written you, and she said she said to me the time you'll know when the time's right, and you're like, oh God, how could this happen? How could I be so stupid to leave the oven on or whatever?
I'd burn it.
You'd burn the letter.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want it.
Wait, hang on. What? Leave the oven on?
Yeah.
What
I'm
do
just
you
saying,
mean?
like, because you're not going to be in like a death-defying chase. It'd be some domestic accident that your girlfriend died.
But I'm responsible.
Yeah, I guess. Because like Bruce thinks he's responsible to some extent.
Well, it's more like related to her job. Though. Oh no, I suppose it isn't. It's related to
She's caught up in his mess.
she's caught up in Harvey Dent's mess. Surely, no, but she's the assistant district
DA.
attorney.
No, because the Joker does know, because he says like, "I saw you throw yourself after her."
Yeah,
I don't know why you do that accent.
Danny DeVito. I don't like this conversation.
All right, let's just say, for argument's sake, you're someone else. Your name's Doris. Would it soften the blow of losing a partner?
Have you ever been bereaved?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember the last time you were bereaved?
Yeah.
If you, at the time when you were grieving,
Yeah.
found a letter that said, "Listen, Joe, I never loved you." Do you think that would have made you feel
I did
bad?
once love you, but now don't love you anymore.
Yeah, that's even worse, surely. Like you missed your chance.
I think it would make it better.
I think you're talking shit.
I think it would help the process because you'd be like, well, fine, I'm over it now. That's how trauma
A
works.
fucking maniac. You're a proto Joker over there.
Anything that you can get a handle on to pull yourself up above the misery.
Yeah. Great.
Listen, if anyone's been bereaved lately, just pretend that they never loved you and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Great.
Any more?
Yeah, I've got one final one.
Yeah. Don't give him the letter ever.
Just don't go into the prison cell with the Joker and just.
It's mad, isn't it? Who put him in there?
Why is he in there?
Yeah, just lock the door.
Just lock the door.
Can't get out.
Did Batman rip the door off its hinges or something? Is that why they has to stand there?
To put a fat man in the way.
You could just lock the door and leave him in there. Makes absolutely no sense. Another Nolan thing, right, that makes no sense is that he then gets kidnapped with like a shard of glass next to his throat.
Right, yeah.
And then the bomb goes off and he just like drops to the floor.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to infer the Joker has cut his throat
Right.
in the chaos and he's dead. But then when Gordon's smashing the spotlight later, he's in the background and he's got like a plaster over his neck.
Really?
Yeah.
There he goes.
Right. So the Joker just went. So what happened, right? Was that the bomb went off, right? And it presumably produced like a concussive wave.
Yeah.
Which knocked everyone
Except
like,
the Joker.
completely unconscious, like instantly. But because of the way the Joker was standing, this guy took the full force of it, which didn't like throw him backwards or anything. It just blacked him out basically,
yeah.
like a blow to the head, and he just drops to the floor. And then the Joker just decides to not kill him because why would he?
He's chaos.
Chaos, mate.
In Batman Begins, there's a scene, and we talked about this off air, but it drives me mad, where Bruce Wayne has a big birthday party for himself.
Yeah.
And he's like mincing through it, right? And he's talking to people.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't want to be there, really.
No,
he's just been
he wants to be beaten up like low-level
Yeah.
hoodlums.
Rachel is unconscious in his basement.
Right.
And he's like...
Because she's been poisoned by the Scarecrow at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, got to deal with that shit. And then this woman comes up to him who's never been seen before or afterwards.
Yeah.
He's like, Bruce, you just simply have to meet this person.
Yeah.
Why
So
did you know
and then she's like, what did you say your name was?
Am I pronouncing this right?
Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah. And this guy turns around who isn't Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
Right? It's just some guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul is dead.
Right. And then Liam Neeson's stood behind him and he's like, no, I'm Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
What a load of exposition.
Meanwhile, that woman... Right, not only that woman, but the fake Ra's al Ghul.
They
just
walk off together.
Yeah. They just go, well, that conversation is over. Like, what is that woman thinking? She goes like,
she's been talking to this guy.
Just before Bruce Wayne went mental and threw everyone out of his party, I was talking to this, like, Buddhist monk.
This Fu Manchu type.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, can you introduce me to Bruce Wayne, please? Because I'd love to meet him.
And she said, why? And he said, I'm the sort of person he would really love to meet.
Yeah. And he simply must meet me. And I introduced him, and Bruce Wayne said, it's not him. That man's dead. And the man offered no contradiction to it. He just accepted what Bruce Wayne was saying. Maybe it's a Buddhist thing. I don't know. It's like, maybe it's part of their spirituality. He just thought that was fine. And then...
Yeah.
And then another man behind him said that he was Ra's al Ghul. I just don't understand it. Anyway, the house burned down, so that's fine.
But Liam Neeson doesn't say, I'm Ra's al Ghul. He says, like, chaos is among us. Whatever it is.
It's like,
Always be aware of your surroundings.
yeah. He's like, you sacrifice sure footing for the killing strike.
And she's like, yeah.
And she's like, would you
My
want
work is done.
do you want one of these canapes? They're really quite
Come
marvelous.
on, Raz.
Yeah.
What happens to fake
Come
Ra's al
on,
Ghul?
come on, Raz. I know when we're not wanted.
Does he die in the fire?
But he's not like Ducard is dressed
In a like tuxedo.
suit, yeah.
Dinner suit.
Yeah. And fake Ra's al Ghul is
Looks like
dressed
Ning
in,
the Merciless.
like did they fly him over from like Tibet? Did they go, right, we got all the soldiers, all the foot soldiers, the warriors and stuff. Fake Ra's al Ghul go on the plane, right?
But it's not the original fake Ra's al Ghul.
You know, of course not. But he'll go, so what we need you to do is we're going to go to his party and then you go stand near him.
Yeah.
Don't say anything to Bruce Wayne, right? Don't say anything to him.
And you mean wear this with the big collar that goes over my head?
You see that woman?
The blonde one, yeah?
Yeah, who is she? No one knows. But just
Doesn't matter.
just go talk to her. Convince her that she should introduce you to Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Does she know Bruce Wayne? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And then when Bruce Wayne looks at you, I'll be stood behind him. And you don't say anything because he's going to be really confused. And then I'll take over. And then you just go back to Tibet. You can put it on the credit card. It's fine. Just whatever the next flight is.
Yeah.
Just that's fine. We'll see you back here.
What's my job title in this?
How do you advertise for that?
Look-alike wanted. A look-alike for a dead man.
Are all the other...
He doesn't look like him.
But Ducard is white.
Yeah.
Are all the other League of Shadows members white as well? Or are they just a
They're
hodgepodge?
Well, Bane's in it.
Also
Talia's in it. She's
Also
French. Ra's al Ghul is...
fake? Are they all just white people who get a fake Tibetan monk to lead them?
But he doesn't lead them. He's pointless.
But no, it's in like he's just the fake, you know, the fake figurehead of this.
There's no rationale to it. You know when at the end of that like scene in the temple where in Batman Begins, where he's like, I'm not going to kill the guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn it. The guy dies anyway in the fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill him. I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to kill everyone else.
Yeah, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill just him. My one rule is that I never kill single people.
I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to kill everyone except the one guy who I should kill, and I will later kill anyway. And then at the end, he's like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to save you. Yeah, there's him die.
That's the same.
Yeah. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you die in a crash that I caused.
Yeah, he goes, I'm not going to kill you, but that doesn't mean I have to save you. So, well, yeah, but that is also killing him. If you could save him, that's killing him by omission.
Yeah. I mean, like, legally, you're right. But morally. So that's that.
Yeah. What else is there to say? This was almost as long as the film.
Don't get me started on Bane.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Thank
you very much for listening.
Yeah, I liked it.
HowToSurviveShow@gmail.com, @HowToSurvivePod. You can get in touch. Rate and review us on iTunes.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
I'm not going to be staying too long. I'll do some emails next week.
Yeah.
Because it's been far too long.
Yeah.
Bird Box is next week.
Yeah.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Or Netters, as I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Yeah. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Good?
Well, we'll see.
Stay tuned.
Or we won't see, Joe.
Because we're
And we
blindfolded.
won't see you next week.
We will
because of the blindfolds.
We will be here.